Welcome to a special New Year's Eve edition of the Commissioner's Corner. I'm joined today from Columbus, Ohio, Miss Andrea Braendli, our junior goalkeeper at The Ohio State University. How are you today, Andrea?
I'm doing great. How are you?
I'm good. It's so good to see you and excited that the Buckeyes are going to be back on the ice this weekend, which I'm sure you are as well. So let's start with a little bit of background. You come to Columbus from Zurich, Switzerland. So tell us a little bit about, first of all, maybe home, and then how you found your way to Columbus.
Well, I mean, Switzerland's a really, really small country, and it's usually not really common that like a player, hockey player, female hockey player is like taking all the way to USA to play hockey. But I got a recruitment call from the assistant coach, Peter Lander, that time, and it was a dream come true. It was always kind of my dream to like come to the US and play hockey and to like live my dream and like study the things I want to study and just like, live the best hockey life. And so it wasn't really a hard decision for me to like say yes to that. And when I came here for my official visit, I literally fell in love like right away with the campus, with like the team, the whole community. And it was just like the best thing ever to happen to me, and I'm really, really excited that I decided to come here and just to like be a part of Buckeye family.
Is there anything about maybe the US or even playing hockey in the US that surprised you, or that you, when you go home and tell European players about, what hockey's like in the US, is there anything that you share with them?
It's just what the one thing I was like really fascinated about is that the like how much the US people love sports. Doesn't matter what sport it is, if it's like male or female sports, they just are so into like sports and like participation. And that was something I did not expect. Like we had like a full house in my first game, like home game here at OSU, and I was just like overwhelmed by like how much they cheer, like students, normal people that came in to watch our game who like cheered for us. And that was one of the greatest thing I experienced here so far.
So you're part of kind of a change in women's hockey at Ohio State, and really sort of, last year's final face-off championship was the first ever for the program, and you're headed into the postseason. And so as a team and as a unit, talk about just kind of the ability to sort of write history at Ohio State, what that means to you all.
I mean, that was so cool, and so I'm so grateful that I was a part of that team because it was we're a family here, and it was like unbelievable to share such a moment with our family, technically, with all the team, with like team members, staff, the whole community who supported us, like that was just a huge thing. And it's like it made us so proud that we can like give that back to the university too, who makes so much, like who makes a lot for us. So it was such an honor, and we're so grateful that we were able to write history and like bring the trophy back to OSU.
So let's stay there in March of last year. So you win the final face-off. We're in Minneapolis. You head back to Columbus. You're coming back to Minneapolis to play Minnesota first round of the NCAA tournament. And some of you, I understand, whether it was you or some of your teammates, were actually at the airport and getting ready to fly when you got the, come back, we're not going and we're not sure. And then probably about an hour later knew that the championship was being stopped, as all sports basically stopped because of the pandemic. What was that like?
It was interesting. I was one of those who were at the airport. I think I was drinking a coffee and listening to music when everyone was like getting up and like, all right, we're getting home, we're going home again. It was we knew that, like, we heard news about like other leagues who were being canceled and everything, so we kind of expected that this is going to happen, even though we kind of like kept that hope, so that maybe we can still play. But we went home that day to our house where a lot of our teammates live, and then just waited for news there. And when we got the news that everything was canceled, it was hard to like realize that, all right, our season is done now, because we had so much hope. We thought that we can literally win a national championship. So I think that was the hardest part, to realize that we don't have that chance anymore. But on the other end, we kind of had the best end we could have hoped for, because we ended with like a huge win. So that was like kind of like that part that was maybe like the positive side of that whole situation. So you could see it from both sides. So yeah.
Yes, yeah, certainly. You guys had a very unique experience there, because you did, get to win your last game of the season, which, typically the only team that says that is the team that wins the national championship. But I'm with you. I remember sitting in your post-game press conference after the championship, and just the way you all played that weekend. And sometimes, teams just get hot at the right times. And I really felt like you all had a chance to win it, as I think I felt probably all three of our WCHA teams, really for different reasons, we're going to have a shot. And so then for it to not happen, I think what's interesting from my perspective is, if we had known then what we know now, and some of the challenges that we've gone through, even to just get back to the ice this year, it does it changes your mindset a little bit when you go back to that disappointment, and now it shifts you to this sort of excitement about having a chance to be back. So we get back sort of slowly, right? We have a delayed start. So what was it like to practice so much? I'm so curious. So I think a lot of people don't understand that typically in a women's hockey season, you have like a week of practice before you could be playing games. And this year you had 2 months of practice or so. So what was that like, having all the extra time on the ice with your teammates?
It felt kind of unreal, honestly. We came here and we didn't really know what was going on, what's that will like going be going with like our games and schedule and everything. So it was kind of weird to just like practice and have like a kind of like not a pre-season, maybe like a post-season. It felt almost like a post-season, because our season ended so abruptly. Like it didn't really feel like we had a summer and then a pre-season. But when once we heard that we have a schedule and everything, we were like hyped up to like get going, and we practiced. So we had our like really great practices, and everyone was just excited to finally like play again. But it was good. So because now we had like enough time to like break in the new equipment and everything. So that was kind of like a nice part about that, like 2 months of like preseason time.
Yeah. So then you did get to play, and played a couple of weekends of games before a little bit of a pause. So I'm so interested in just the mindset that you all are trying to take every day, as we navigate the everyday is different scenario that we're living in. How are you particularly, and your teammates, how are you managing those emotions and those challenges?
It was really hard in the beginning to stay like motivated for like doing school stuff, because school is online too, and I think that was the hardest part, to like keep that like focus and motivation to do stuff, except practice. Of course, we had our practice time scheduled every afternoon. That was kind of like the only like fixed like schedule we had, except like school. But school sometimes is like, yeah, you don't have to be there in class time, because lectures are recorded, so you can listen to it at like whenever you want. I think that was the hardest part for all of us, to stay focused, motivated, to do everything, to do homework, to like cook your own food, not to like let it like get it delivered, like just like so simple stuff that like get you moving, and just like get your mind a little bit away from the whole COVID situation. I think that was the hardest part, but I feel like we did a great job with like supporting each other with that, and like giving like ideas to each other of what things you can do, and like playing games together, and just like get together as a team or as a family, and just to support each other.
So you mentioned school a little bit. Tell us what you're majoring in at Ohio State.
I'm double majoring in psychology and criminology.
What are you like future? What do you want to do in the future? Where does hockey fit? Where do your degrees fit? What does 10 years from now look like? Maybe 5 years. What does 5 years from now look like? for you?
That's actually a good question. There's a lot asking me that now, like coming close to graduation day. Honestly, I haven't really thought about that because it's really hard to like decide what I want to do with not knowing what will happen with hockey, you know, because hockey is such a huge part in my life, and I always plan kind of like around hockey, you know. So it's like hard to decide what I want to do, but I try to like work in more like the, I don't know, like police section, like law and everything. That's kind of like that like way I want to get like find my dream job kind of. But
Do you think your dream job takes you back to Switzerland?
You never know. You never know. So as I said, it always depends on what happens with hockey. If there is an opportunity here in the US, and I'm like happy to stay here, you know, but I can also like, there are also like good hockey leagues in Sweden, for example. So you never know if I might go there for a couple of years. So, you know, it's pretty much everything is open, and I kind of don't want to like decide now because you never know what's going to happen.
Yeah, don't decide now. We'll check back in. I'll talk to you in 5 years, and then you can answer the question for us and tell us all the cool things that you've been up to.
Yeah.
So this weekend, Bemidji State comes to Columbus for the opening series of 2021. What do you think are the keys for the Buckeyes this weekend?
I think for us right now is the key to like get like found their like way back into like our rhythm, because we had a kind of long break now, and it was pretty hard to like get back on the ice and like get moving. I think that's the huge like biggest part right now, to like find our like the way back to our like Buckeye hockey. But I feel like we've practiced really good, and I think if we can like continue that until Friday and Saturday, we have a good like base to compete on our normal level again.
Well, we look forward to seeing you back on the ice and watching some good hockey. We're at the end, which means now, if you've been paying attention, you know that Jen likes to do this segment called This Is Me, where I'm going to ask you a whole bunch of random questions about you, and we're going to get to know Andrea better. How's that? You ready?
I am ready.
All right, here we go. Favorite food?
Lasagna.
Good choice. Favorite movie?
Probably Harry Potter.
Really?
Like all the Harry Potter movies. Yeah, all of them.
You can't pick one?
No.
Did you read the books?
Yes, I did.
Before the movies or after the movies?
Before the movies.
Okay. This is good. I just have to understand, because there's a lot of Harry Potter fans, but some go backwards. So at least you went in the right order. How about favorite holiday?
Christmas.
Because why?
I don't know. I just love the whole like excitement and like joy, like how everyone is just happy and joyful and just like so kind and calm. It's just like the whole like excitement around the holiday, I think. And I love snow, so I guess that's maybe why.
Can you say Merry Christmas to me in German, which is how you would say it at home?
Frohe Weihnachten.
Oh, I was going to try to repeat it. I got no shot. Okay. How about biggest fear?
Probably death. That's my biggest fear.
Yeah, deep breath there. I'm with you. Dream vacation.
Oh, that's a hard one. Probably my own little cottage in the mountains, in Swiss mountains. That's my dream vacation.
But that's pretty nice.
Without any people, just me at the mountains. Maybe snow.
Maybe some snow.
Yeah.
And a fire, hopefully, to keep you warm. Yeah. How about guilty pleasure TV show?
I don't really like TV. I'm more the movie kind of person, so I don't really have that much TV shows that I would be guilty about. So
then tell me the best movie that you've seen recently.
Recently, I think I watched the new Wonder Woman movie. That was really good. I really liked that. So that was the last movie I've seen.
Okay, so you recommend it?
Yeah, I do.
I've seen mixed reviews, but I'll take your word for it.
Yeah.
Game day pump up jam.
I have my huge playlist I usually play, and one of my favorite songs is like a Swiss song. It's called Swiss Lady. It's great. That's usually my great game prep song.
I'm going to look it up after we're done. Favorite WCHA opponent and why?
Probably Wisconsin, because I usually play great against them. I just love like how fast how good they are, and I love good opponents.
Best hockey memory?
Probably so I have two. One is like my first Olympic Winter Games, 2018, and the other one was the WCHA title last year.
Wow, we're putting the WCHA title in the same breath as the Olympic Games. That's pretty awesome, actually. Amazing, actually. Okay, last one. What's one thing nobody knows about you?
Nobody knows about me. Probably that I have really no talent to whistle. I cannot whistle. That's why I'm never doing it. So nobody knows that I can't whistle. I can't whistle.
That's so funny. How many times in your life do you wish that you could? Like, how often are you like, oh, I wish I could whistle? Is it more often than I think?
Yes.
Oh man.
It's like one thing that I kind of want to learn, but I cannot figure out how to do it. It's like a mystery for me.
Well, at least, thank goodness that you're super talented in so many other ways. Hopefully the whistle will never come into play. It's fantastic. Thank you so much, Andrea, for joining us today. This was Andrea Braendli, goalkeeper at Ohio State University. The Buckeyes are on the ice Friday and Saturday, kicking off the new year in style with Bemidji State at home in Columbus. Thanks, Andrea. Good luck this week. If I could say Happy New Year in German, I would say it. So I'm going to say Happy New Year to you, and we'll look forward to seeing you in 2021.
Thank you so much, and Happy New Year.